month, we went from 50 paying customers to 5,000 paying customers. It's intense, right? So that's kind of the thing they talk about. You can't figure out like how many servers to add, when, how to scale the system. There's like the classic signs of a product market fit where you just like growth comes and you just have scrambling to deal with it.
Somewhere between experimenting with AI and a fundamentally different company, there's a breakthrough. The founders on this show got there faster than most people think possible. This show finds out how. Each week, one founder, one honest story. What broke, what they built, and what their company looks like now. If you're ready to make the breakthrough faster than you thought possible, you're in the right place. This is Breakthrough AI Operators. Here's your host, Roland Sieblink.
Welcome back at the Breakthrough AI Operators podcast. I'm so excited that we already have another guest on the show this week. And I will, of course, build up the mystery and let you guess who it is. Today's guest holds a PhD in biomedical engineering. He built an enterprise software company from scratch to 350 employees across 66 countries and then sold it. Well, he could have just stopped there, but instead he stepped back into the arena right away as generative AI arrived. And unlike most AI founders who are figuring out AI for the first time, this one already knows what it takes to scale a company past 100, past 200, past 300 people. Or agents, right? That's a different kind of operator. So his company, Pictory, has turned 20,000 organizations away from traditional video production with a team of 60, total funding of 4.7 million in an industry where competitors are raising hundreds of millions. The question is, how? With that, everybody, meet my guest, Vikram Chalana, the co-founder and CEO of Pictory. Welcome to Breakthrough AI Operators, Vikram.
Thank you, Roland. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for that really warm introduction.
Oh, of course. Well, if you have so many things to be proud about, then of course I don't want to deprive the audience of that, right? So let's go back, Vikram, to what we said in the intro. Many of your competitors have raised hundreds of millions of dollars, right? And you are very capital efficient, and that also means you're not diluted so much, I assume, right? So what is it that you see different about this industry from all the other companies in your field?
Yeah, I think there is one big decision that we made early on. We were very early. Generative models were just starting to come when we started the company in 2019. The Transformer paper was announced, and we saw what we could leverage out of the box, and it was starting to get powerful right from the get-go. So we decided that, hey, this is what we're going to do is we're going to actually leverage everything that comes out of the box. We're not going to build our own models. We'll try to fine tune models that come out as much as possible, but we are not going to build our own models. We were seeing the writing a little bit on the wall, even for generative image and generative videos, that if text is taking so much compute and so many resources to train, images and videos are just gonna be a lot. And we saw people were starting to do that, and we said like, okay, this is great. I'm sure there will be a lot of people, a lot of models that we'll have access to in the next couple of years if you just wait long enough. And I'm so glad that kind of bet paid off to a little bit, because we then just decided we have a bunch of models available in our product right now. We can swap back and forth between different ones, and we didn't have to go through the heartburn and the pain of training any one of those models. When we decided that we were going to focus on the workflow, on getting the use cases right for the end users, that to us was where we had come from in our past as well. And it just, there was a founder market fit, which is as important. And then also we'd come from this bootstrap background in the past. We didn't know how we could scale with a lot of money. And so there was a lot of things that, fit our personalities, our team's personalities.
So you talk a lot about how it fit your DNA better to bootstrap, to not over-raise, maybe also to focus more on a particular use case as opposed to trying to build the entire value chain, right? Um, b- but was there also like an experience dimension? Like I've typically seen industries evolve like this. I can tell where the world is going. A little bit more that experience that maybe younger founders might not have yet.
Yeah, I wish things would translate in the AI age as good as you imagine, but they didn't.
Okay.
And there were some things, scaling companies, building from zero, uh, making sure you don't over dilute yourself. Like those are experiences that you learn sometimes the hard way. Uh, 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 Predicting where markets are going,
Hmm.
I think that's like the hardest thing for anyone. I did not imagine the things, the AI to grow so quickly and so well. And that's
Because in fact, you were already starting on this before ChatGPT came out and started off the generative AI revolution, at least in consumers' heads, right?
that's exactly right. Yeah, 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 yeah. So we
Hmm.
saw it kind of slowly percolate, and I was expecting that speed, and then suddenly ChatGPT came out. It just like took the world by a storm, and yeah, that was completely unexpected. We rode the wave to a little bit.
For those that are maybe a little bit less versed in the AI sphere, most of our target audience is not just the engineers, but also like the business people, the founders who actually want to have an impact with AI, right? So, what's the current state of the different models out there? How much redundancy do you have in your stack? How much choice do you have? Is there a big risk of being too embedded with a certain provider that may change the rules on you one day to another?
Yeah, so let's talk about that a little bit, and
Hmm.
I'll start with like there's three types of models that we use and that
Hmm.
you'll encounter, like the text models, and they're like Claude and OpenAI are just battling it out. Anthropic, they leapfrog each other every so often, so that's great. I love that we integrate with both for different use cases
Yeah.
on the text side. On image and video, I think there are different models emerging, right? And um, right now it feels like Google is amazing for both image and video, and
Hmm.
Google's Nano Banana plus their VO models are probably best of the state of the art. Uh,
Hmm.
the competition there that we integrate with there's a company, a lot of Chinese models. ByteDance has models. Pixverse is another company that has a bunch of models that we integrate with. Uh, and then Amazon has some models, Nova Canvas, Nova Reel. But it feels like Google kind of has a step up on all of this.
Think you mentioned something very interesting in our prep call that you said, while at least for now, it's easy for us to swap the provider in the back end, the workflow we provide on the front end is actually very sticky for customers. Can you talk more about that?
Yes. So at the end of the day, we are betting on that being our winning strategy here.
Hmm.
In that, if you're able to integrate with the systems that customers use, if you're able to pull data in and understand the format in which they're used to, and then output that in the formats that they're used to, so that then it becomes more of I become embedded in their workflow, whether it's for creating training videos or for marketing videos.
Hmm.
That's where we want to play. That's where we really want to play, and we want to provide almost like I can see us providing a great distribution channel for some of these model makers, right? That's kind of
Yeah,
how they
exactly.
also treat us. Yeah, and I'll tell
Hmm.
you the story because it's kind of very interesting.
Please.
Uh, we went in a month, we went from 50 paying customers to 5,000 paying customers.
Oh, wow. That
Yeah.
explains your
So
gray hairs, Vikram.
yeah, I mean it's intense, right? So that's kind of the thing they talk about. You can't figure out like how many servers to add, when, how to scale the system. There's like the classic signs of a product market fit where you just like growth comes and you just have scrambling to deal with it. Every
Hmm.
system fails. The way we found it was also interesting. Before that, the technology was similar. Like obviously, it's improved a lot in the last 5 years, but
Hmm.
we were trying to find the fit in larger companies. We were trying to find the fit in product marketing teams in slightly larger organizations, and we had some success, but it was kind of a struggle. It was like,
Hmm.
okay, well, this is not working, and there were two reasons we saw that. One was for videos, almost all marketing teams had agency relationships and legacy agency relationships. They were very hard to break. Uh,
Hmm.
Now it's different. Now we hear terms like going from agencies to agents. So there's like
Hmm.
a shift in the last year that has happened. But 5 years ago that wasn't the case. And the second thing we were seeing is that the for customer facing videos, the form fit pixel level accuracy was super important
Hmm.
to larger companies. So we never got to that level of, the quality, if you will, yeah,
Yeah.
that they were looking for. So
Hmm.
so we had this insight that maybe what we need to do is try a different market.
Yep.
So product market fit is a combination of product and the market, right? So
Yes, exactly. Right.
same product on a different market. And and we found a distribution channel, which I'm sure you've heard of. It's called AppSumo.
Yep.
Yeah. So we said, okay, we let's do this campaign on AppSumo, and they're kind of a different market. They're like SMBs, agencies that buy there, and let's see how it goes. And and that worked. That was the thing that we were looking for, because the problems were the same, whether it was a large company or the small company. Um, but they didn't have the budgets for agencies, and they didn't have that quality bar to
Yeah.
some degree that we weren't there, and it just worked.
So
Um,
it's almost a little bit like what Clayton Christensen called disruptive innovation, where your product may not have been good enough to hit the top of the market, but at the bottom of the market, there was actually a huge opportunity for you.
that's right. Yeah, yeah. And now we're able to kind of move to upmarket, because as the product has matured, as the technology has matured, we're able to kind of start
And
penetrating that
that's
market.
exactly what he described there, right? In the innovator's dilemma, that the over time, then the bottom level product improves so much that the top are being squeezed out of the market. I wanted to ask you also about your own personal journey, because as we said in the intro, Vikram, you started off as the CEO of a company that grew quite large, but then you consciously stepped back and became the CTO. And now you're in a CEO role again as founder, right? Uh, which one is actually running Pictory right now, the CEO or the CTO?
Uh, uh, my co-founder is a CTO, so I think as me, I'm running it as a CEO now,
Okay.
and yeah, I totally like it.
What's
There's
the
a
difference between the two? Like how you interpret your role? Where do you draw a line that you would draw differently if you were in the other role?
I think it's how much you are spending on the tech side. It's literally that. It's like,
Yeah.
if I'm spending my majority of my time on the tech side, then I really should be the CTO. But if I'm
Mm-hmm.
spending time on the market, on with customers, with investors, that's kind of a more of a CEO. So I,
Mm-hmm.
to some degree, at my previous company, um, I in the beginning I was spending time on everything,
Yeah.
but the part that I was not feeling very comfortable with is the customer facing side of
Mm-hmm.
it, and bringing a person as a COO first, and giving him all the go to market responsibilities, and then transitioning. Like I brought a very senior person, and he was like, I'm going to join if I eventually have a path to become the CEO. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's like, let's see how it goes. And it went really well. We got along really well, and I had a lot of respect for me. He had a lot of respect for me, uh, and uh, and we both respected each other, and we kind of made that switch a few years after I hired him.
Yeah, and it can also be that you've simply not got the energy anymore, or you want to do a little bit something else, or maybe you're more passionate about the technology at that stage, right?
It's different factors. It's really
Mm-hmm.
many factors. But I think the hard thing is, which I'm sure you've seen with your clients that you worked with,
Mm-hmm.
is the hard thing is giving up control. Right, that's kind
Mm-hmm.
of the hardest thing, because you built the baby. Now somebody else is making decisions, and and being okay with that, being comfortable with that, is was the hardest thing.
How did you get there? How did you learn that? How did you push yourself to learn to give up control?
Uh, it takes time. Trusting somebody takes time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that trust has to be established. Once that trust is established, and then it gets a lot easy. But
Trust as
it
the actual basis for it, right? Yeah.
yeah, trust is the basis for
Mm-hmm.
this. Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
I also find that many CEOs actually have that same trust issue with delegating downwards and assigning whole areas to people as opposed to just like ad hoc tasks, right? So you've got obviously a lot of experience. What would you say to people who are newer to the founder CEO role and that are struggling with that?
Um, yeah, this is going to be key to scaling.
Hmm.
You have to work on the business, not in the business. That is absolutely key. Um, there is,
Can I double click on that? Of course I know the expression, but for other
yeah,
people in the audience, what's the difference between working on the business and in the business?
yeah. If I'm involved in every decision, and I am also coding, and I'm doing, running campaigns and stuff like that, I'm working in the business. I'm
Hmm.
day to day involved. Without me, it won't run. Versus on the business is, I'm building the team, I'm empowering them, I'm making sure that the processes are defined, and how we do things is well defined. That's working on the business, and I think that's going to be key to scaling. You can get to
Hmm.
a certain size easily working in the business, and micromanaging or everything, and then at a stage you have to delegate. Otherwise you're just not gonna, like, you're not gonna have any balance in life, and you're just gonna, like, the organization suffers. And I've seen that enough, where the organization suffers because the founder can't delegate. Yeah.
But coming back to what you said about product market fit, so you said like suddenly it happened, right? From 50 to 5,000 customers in a month, I think you said.
Yes.
Was that after like consciously hunting for that product market fit, like being very active, constantly iterating, or was it just something that happened to you guys?
No, it was consciously looking.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lot of iterations before that
Mm-hmm.
to even get to this point. And then we had some hypothesis that, hey, this might work, and so let's try this. And it did indeed
So
work
what's
out.
your philosophy there, Vikram? Is it basically just run through a list of experiments, learn until you've got more and more data to see what actually sticks?
That's exactly what we do. That's
Mm-hmm.
exactly what we do. We have a rolling set of experiments, either in terms of market that we're going to market, sub markets that we're going to penetrate, or product changes. And then we're just kind of running through that. And sometimes you just abandon something, we try it and it didn't work. Other times, double down on something.
Was that something that you were really kind of like running this list of experiments and you just told your team what to do? Or were you really more focused on kind of implementing this whole scientific mindset throughout the team at large?
The founders, we were all we were big fans of the lean startup approach.
Yep.
So we all kind of we all talk about it all the time. That's kind of how we operate. So that's then everybody has their teams and they kind of operate that way too.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think it's trying to inculcate that principle among the whole team.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Data is like
Okay.
a big part of our like value system or culture, if you will.
Like a core value almost, is it?
Yeah, core value. Data is actually, in fact, one of our core values. Yeah.
Oh, it is excellent. Okay,
Yes. Yes.
I should have looked them up, and then I could have asked you all these kinds of challenging questions about how much you live your own core values. Like that's always like a fun exercise with any founder, of course, right? So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I can talk through it because we live it ourselves every day. Um, we call it CREDO, the short form
yeah,
is CREDO, and the first one is curiosity.
yeah,
And that's kind of, it defines me, it defines our entire leadership team. Respect is the second one, R, and same thing, it defines all our relationships
yeah,
between ourselves and our customers. Uh, E is for expeditiousness, moving fast. Yeah. So, and D is data, and then O is openness or transparency. So this is kind of how we operate anyway. Like it defines me, it's my personal values, my co-founders, we all align to that completely.
Have you had difficult moments where you really had a clash with core values and you had to decide, are we actually gonna take action here, maybe draw a line, or in the worst case, maybe even tell somebody to move on, or um, what happens when push comes to shove is really my question.
Yeah, I mean there are times we've had to fire people. They
Yep.
were hiding things. It clashed against our core values of being
Yep. Mm-hmm.
open about things. Um, there are times when we had to lay people off, and it's really hard, as any founder knows, right? You've
Mm-hmm.
scaled companies, you've had to lay people off, and it clashes against that respect core value.
Yep.
And But trying to exit somebody with respect is a big deal, and to me that
I
that
agree.
was one of the most important things to do.
And I always think you're right. Like, there's no founder who can avoid that. Unfortunately, it's part of the role, right?
Yeah.
And
Yes.
part of the ups and downs of any startup, in my experience.
Yes.
I personally always think of the two things that if it's more of a collective layoff, then usually the situation is so dire that if you wouldn't take action now, the painful action now, then ultimately everyone will lose their job. And
Yes.
that is actually worse as an outcome. And that's always what I keep in mind. And then I totally agree about being respectful, whether it's layoff on a collective basis or just because
Or an individual.
somebody's not a
Mm.
fit anymore. It's like,
Yes.
I truly believe everyone can be a good fit somewhere. It's
Yes.
just that sometimes it's not here anymore. And then
Yes.
how do I help them find a better fit somewhere outside, right?
Yes. Yes. And one other thing, like I'm sure you've seen this as you scale companies,
Mm-hmm.
um, is that somebody who is a fit in the first 1 million may not be the fit for the 1 to 10, or somebody who brought you to 10 million may not get you to the next milestone, the 100
Absolutely.
million. So
And it's actually, I would say, like, it would be a high exception if somebody were a fit through all that time,
yes.
right?
Yes. Yeah.
So, and I want to talk a little bit more about the bigger pictures. So you went through now with Pictory and then before with your other almost unicorn, right? Like, my thinking is always like the kinds of companies that are bringing their business all the way from the 2 3 guys in a garage to the hundreds of people, maybe thousands of people over time. The thing they do differently is that they're able to engineer breakthrough after breakthrough, that they're really able to like look at what's wrong with the business, what do we fix, like you said, data driven, constant openness for new changes. How do you think about that in your own experience, and also how you look at startups in general? Like, how do you keep that zeal alive of always wanting to do better, not to get too much stuck with the routine, not becoming like a boring old corporation too quickly, where everything is good enough and we're fine for mediocrity?
Sometimes I feel like, if a product works well, and it's doing the right thing for the customer, you probably want to leave it alone. I think a lot of products die because the founder got bored and added
Uh-huh.
too much complexity into it. I certainly kind of was tempted towards that in my previous company. It just worked. It was beautiful. It was a product that connected SAP with Excel and SharePoint, and it was
This
just
was
like it was
Winshuttle, right?
Winshuttle, exactly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it just worked. It was a nice product, and then we started adding more complexities around workflows and um, uh, you know collaborative Excel and stuff like that. So it was almost like we made it too hard for the end user
Just
because
because you got bored inside the
because it was too
company, would you say?
simple. Yeah, it was like
Right,
we
right,
felt it was the
right.
product was too simple, and so the challenge there was, now how do we kind of still keep the product that customers love alone, but kind of build the new stuff around it. And it's a challenge. It's similar to a product market fit to some degree. It's like,
Right.
what
So what's the source of discipline around that you can recommend to founders that do get bored with their own products? Like, is it is it the data again? Is it like having more customer conversations? Is it what are your own coping mechanisms, if you will?
yeah, I think my coping mechanism, if the product works and your engine, your go to market engine is also working around that, keep that going. Keep that going.
Yeah.
Use the go to market engine to add new things so your NRR can potentially
Hmm.
improve, as opposed to re-architecting the whole the whole product every couple of years, which sometimes it may be necessary for speed and all that reasons, but yeah, try to resist fixing something that is not broken.
Okay. Okay. Very good.
Yeah,
Right.
right, yeah.
So we're almost getting to the end of the recording, Vikram. So I did want to talk a little bit about the person behind the companies in this case, right? What was Vikram like as a child, as a teenager? Was there anything predicting that you would be a successful founder CEO one day?
I don't think so. I mean, I know I was very curious. I was very driven as a child, and but I grew up in India,
Yeah.
and the very competitive society there, very big
Hmm.
country, and I did not see myself as an entrepreneur. When I was a kid, I just didn't see that. Although although I was surrounded by entrepreneurs in my family, except my dad, like everybody was an entrepreneur. My
Except your
uncles,
dad.
my
So
auntie,
who was the most inspiring family
my
member?
grandfather. My
Oh
grandfather was
yeah.
probably the most the inspiring entrepreneur in our family, and
What was his entrepreneurial business, if I may ask?
it was trucking. Like
Trucking.
he was. My dad used to be in the coal industry, and my grandfather was in the trucking industry, because trucking coal out of the coal industry was a big deal, and
Of
and uh,
course, yeah.
and uh, and he was running his business until he was beyond 90 years old.
Really?
Yeah. So and it was like I saw him and the passion and the zeal, and I was like, it explicitly it didn't appeal to me at that time, but I think that left a mark for the future. Because I was pursuing to be a academic. I went to
Okay,
PhD. I
yeah.
did a PhD. I was like, you know, and then my first job was a research scientist, and
Of course, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
but that
What drew you back to entrepreneurialism in the end?
Um, I think even as my first job as a research scientist, the thing that I got very excited about was product management,
Mm.
trying to build a new product and then showing that product to customers. The product didn't exist, bringing that from zero to existence and showing that to customers and having their eyes light up, like that part of the journey just like fascinates me.
Last question, Vikram. When you are talking to founders who are a few years or a few decades maybe behind you, just starting on their journey, maybe just experiencing first parts of product market fit, What would you tell them? What's your one piece of advice?
Um, Sometimes people don't take enough chances. They're too risk averse,
Yeah,
and so I think even when things are going well, you still have to continue to take the risks, and especially if like you're starting out, then there's like you have to jump in. You have to jump in. So I think that's the one piece that I keep telling everybody, like just do it, just jump in. Yeah.
very good. Well, Vikram, if people want to hear more about Pictory or about you, where do they go and what should they download?
Yeah, Pictory.ai
Yeah,
is our website. There's a free trial. Just try it out there. That's the easiest way, and you'll see a lot of different options to create videos in there. And just try anything. Turn your blogs to video. Turn your idea to video.
excellent. Okay.
Yeah.
Of course, we'll be trying that too, and we'll provide a link on the show notes where people can easily go to that site, maybe with a little bit of extra free time. Who knows what we can negotiate with Vikram offline, right? So you'll see that in the show notes, everyone. And so thank you again, Vikram. This has been an amazing conversation. I'm sure the listeners are going to find this super useful. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you, Roland. It's been a pleasure talking to you. It's amazing.
Likewise, likewise. And for the audience, we will have another amazing founder, not quite as amazing as Vikram, of course, on the show next week. So keep listening. Stay tuned.
That's what a breakthrough actually looks like. One founder, one honest story, every week. Subscribe, leave a review, and share this with a founder you think is ready for it. Find us at baio.midstage.ac. See you in the next episode.